morning and welcome to another exciting edition of Sports Talk. And my name is Kingsley Mana, and I'm very happy to be here this morning to bring you up to speed with another exciting stories that are revolving around the world of sport. To open our menu this morning, Athletic Integrity Unit dragged Toby Amusan to Court of Arbitration for Sports. And coming more will be yours after this short time out. Please stay with us.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
Nobody's ambition is what's the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
Natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Welcome back as the Sports Talk on Atlantic Television Network. And of course, it's another exciting edition where we bring you the latest revolving around the world of sports. Joining me on today's edition of the show is the mighty Peter Abaje. Good morning to you, sir, and welcome to Sports
Good morning, Kingsley. My pleasure to be on the show this morning.
Okay. And it's time for me to learn, relearn, and unlearn this morning. Of course, as Peter Abaji will be giving us some incisive analysis on the show. Let's start the show with athletics this morning as the Nigerian Minister of Sport Development, Senator John Eno, has congratulated athletes Toby Amusan and Esibrome for their outstanding performances at the 2023 Diamond League in Oregon, United States of America. World record holder Amusan on Sunday won the 100 meters women's hurdle in 12 points. 33 seconds to retain a Diamond League title, and she also emerged as the only, as the second woman in the history of the Diamond League to clinch 300 meters hurdle title in a row, equaling the record of Dawan Nelson. It was such an impressive one, of course, for Toby Amusan over the weekend. What do you make of this, comeback, from after not having an impressive outing at the World Athletics Championship?
For Toby Amusan, she has shown that what she did at the World Athletics Championship last year was few. She has been able to shut the mouth of her critics that I am still arguably the best 100 meters hurdles athlete in the world. And kudos must go to our team for being able to, psych her up, for being able to work on her mentally because she needed to go through a whole lot of psychological talks following what happened before this year's championship where she was provisionally suspended by the AIU before the disciplinary panel upturned the ruling of the AIU and gave her go ahead to go be part of the World Athletics Championship in Budapest. So for me, Tobin has done well, ended the season on high. She has sent a signal also to other competitors ahead of the Olympic Games in Paris next year, 2024.
Interesting. And the sport minister yesterday said that the victory was a beautiful way for Amusen to wind down an athletics season that brought joy, tears, goosebumps. And he added that her determination and mental strength was worth emulating and was such an impressive one. What do you make of the gesture from the sport minister? He's been active, ever since, he started, ever since he was appointed as the new sport minister.
In the local palace, this can pass for what we say initial gragra. Want to see how long this will take the sports minister or the distance the sports minister will go with a series of meetings, comments, statements that he has been making.
Yeah.
Don't forget that at the slightest opportunity to make a statement, he does make one, and which is also good for him because he's in the saddle, letting the ropes, unlike one who has been around sports for a very long time.
Yeah.
He's a farmer, an accomplished farmer at that, at the grassroots level. And he has also talked about taking sports back to the grassroots. So for every Nigerian that does well today, I also demand that you celebrate them. And you don't only celebrate them when they do well, and when things begin to go the other way around, we also expect to see the sports minister, rally around these athletes to make them understand that we are not just yours when the going is good and when the going is bad. We are also, there with you. So good one for the sports minister. He's learning, and I think he's learning pretty fast.
Very, very fast from what we're seeing already. Yeah, the minister also hailed the Nigerian long jumper, Brume, for a silver medal achievement in the women's long jump event, leaping to 6.85 meters as Ivana Vuketa of Serbia won gold at the Diamond League in Oregon. Lauded the Nigerian for clinching silver despite missing out on gold by a very small margin. And I think it's been a little bit of struggle for Esi Brume. At the World Athletics Championship, at final event, she would have taken the third position, but I think it was just a slim margin. She lost that from the podium finish. And this one as well, she would have taken a gold medal, but it's a small margin as well. Also took her out, from that good medal, position. What do you make of Esi Brume so far this year?
Well, for Esi, I won't believe that she has been one of the most consistent field athletes, for Nigeria in the last, 5 years, thereabouts. Choma Ajua won gold for Nigeria at the Olympic Games in 1996. It was, it was least expected. Won the gold, and the rest, became history for Choma Ajua. We didn't see her, perform so well in other major meets that she participated in. Perform. Esi Brume, she has, she has gone into each competition with the mindset of making it or having a podium finish, a podium performance. And each time she fails to do so, she either finishes in the top 4 or top 5 in a bracket for her. She needs to do something. Maybe it has to do with, her technique that she needs to adjust. It also depends on the quality of coaches that she has right now. How she approaches her final takeoff, it's also very important. Her strides before she gets to the point of takeoff, it's very important. And how she, sustains herself, in air before coming down is also very important. These are areas that I think our technical team needs to work on, and she needs to have that mindset that I am the best, it's the gold or nothing else. And I think if you go with that mindset and have that focus that this is what I want to achieve this year, it is very, very achievable. I must commend her. She believes in herself so much, and that is why each time she fails to get to achieve an objective in a major meet, you can see the look, the expression on her face that this did not go according to plan. And if it goes according to plan, you see the excitement written all over her. Toby Amusa wants to win. But Essie Brume appears she wants to have a podium finish. I want to see her think of winning and not just having a podium finish. Think of winning and you might just get it. She narrowly missed it
at the World Athletics Championship.
Over the weekend. Narrowly, she had a jump of 6.85 meters, and I think the winner also had about 6.85 or 6.86. It was pretty close. So it's getting closer to the big one. Who knows? Paris 2024 might just be our own turn to win a gold medal.
Yeah, you just talk about the priorities for Olympics. So far, so good when it comes to athletics for Team Nigeria. I don't think we've really done well. Take a look at our outing at the World Athletics Championship. So just now, it's a Brume and Toby Amusa that put up a little bit of an impressive performance. It was really an abysmal outing for us as well at the World Athletics Championship. Now, we're talking about the priority for Olympic. What are our chances? What are the chances of Nigeria, getting, especially gold medals?
We really have, a chance of having a podium finish. Let's look at the 100 meters dash for men, women. How many of our athletes are in the top 10 brackets today? No. In the 200 meters, how many of our athletes are in the top 10 bracket? Maybe Favor Ofili for 200 meters. But for the guys, I don't see any of them. Look at the 400 meters, for example. How many of them are there? Absolutely none. So it will be foolhardy for us to start thinking that 2024 we are going to break even. Let's go back memory lane. From the days of Chidi Imo. Chidi Imo did 10 seconds in the 80s, not in the 90s. And for every 100 meters event, be it at the All-African Games or at the Commonwealth Games or at the World Athletics Championship, Olympic Games, you have not less than 3 Nigerian athletes in the semi-finals and maybe one finals. There's always one Nigerian athlete in the 100 meters finals, 200 meters finals, and 400 meters finals. And after the exit of these athletes, these one brothers, Olakpade Adenike, and there is this Fash that later joined the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps. How many of such athletes have we been able to produce over the years to rub shoulders with the very best, in the world? Absolutely none. Most of them in the last 10 years were discovered when they have gone past their prime. The era when Nigeria dominated the sprint on the continent of Africa and at the Commonwealth, we had these functional school sports at the primary school level, at the secondary school level. Our coaches from the sports council, you have them go to various inter-sports meets at the secondary school level to discover talent, at the age of 12, 13, 14. At that point, you begin to expose them to regular competitions. They were not really thinking about going for scholarship programs in the United States of America because back then, you become a celebrity as an athlete. It's for identity, We identify with these guys, it would do well. Money was not part of it, And so, for Nigeria today, we should only concentrate, in those areas where we are almost double sure that we're going to win medals. Like for Toby, for example,
Those.
the sports ministry, federal government needs to support her to achieve that dream for Nigeria. And for Essie Brume, she needs every support that the sports ministry can give to her between now and the Olympic Games for her dream as an individual and the dream of Nigeria, to be, achieved at the Olympic Games. And other than that, I don't think there is any athlete that can give to Nigeria what she truly deserves at the Olympic Games next year. Look at our 4x100 meters, for example. Nigeria, was a force to reckon with back in the day. But today, what is the storyline? We struggle to qualify. We struggle to meet the standard.
Issues in medal and the batting exchange.
Yes. We struggle to meet the standard for the Olympic Games in both male and female 4x100 meters and male and female 4x400 meters. So it's a very pathetic situation for us today in the country today. And the earlier we go back to the proverbial drawing board and begin to plan, the better it is going to be for Nigeria. You cannot be an Olympic champion in 6 months. For you to make it to the podium at the Olympic Games is a 4-year program minimum, depending on the level that you are when the Olympic Games is going on. But if you're within the age bracket of 12 and 13, 12, 14, 15, and you have, a fantastic program in your country, then in another 8 years, we should see you become, an Olympic champion. What we are producing world beaters in another 4 years, in another 8 years, or 10 years, as the case may be. If you don't have, a solid foundation, a plan to success, then don't ever think of success coming your way.
All right, interesting one, and let's see how, of course, this, the coming Paris 24 Olympic will be for Team Nigeria. We hope, the Athletic Federation of Nigeria and other federation that will be participating, come up with, strategic plans for we to actually, have a better outing at the Paris 24 Olympic. But still talking about athletics, we hear the Athletic Integrity Unit says it has kickstarted the process of challenging the decision to clear Toby Amusan of doping violation after the body charged her with 3 whereabout failures in July before she was cleared by panel in August. Amusan, who just won her 3rd consecutive women 100 meters hurdle Diamond League title in Eugene on Sunday, will now have to go through a fresh legal battle at the court of arbitration for sports. What do you make of this approach as well from the AIU? Do you see Amusan, of course, getting past this one once again?
I strongly believe our legal team has what it takes to help Amusan right now. The Federal Ministry of Sports Minister needs to stand behind Amusan right now. Amusan's fight should be seen as the Nigerian fight. We need to stand behind her at this particular moment. While she's going through this, the sports ministry should get a psychologist, a sports, not just a psychologist, a sports psychologist to work with her from now up to when the matter comes up at the CAS level and beyond the CAS level. Because what worked against Amusan at the World Athletics Championship was her mental strength wasn't there. She just wanted to be part of the championship. If I can manage myself, to the finals. We left her all alone. Though there were talks from left, right, center that we did for her, we did that for her, but those things were not visible when it mattered most for Toby Amusan. So for me, I don't know what the AI is actually looking for. Some persons will say it's a deliberate ploy to slow her down. She took everyone by surprise, and when she broke the records, and even smashed the records again, and it was turned down because it was wind.
Yeah, wind assisted.
Wind assisted. So we can't actually tell what the AIU is looking out for, or what they are after, or if they are playing out a script that has been given to them. But if the disciplinary committee, the panel that she faced, cleared her of violating any anti-doping rule, whereabouts a test. I don't see any reason why AI want to go to they appeal the verdict of the panel at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Perhaps what they are trying to do is to prove to the world that we are just truly an integrity unit. We want to protect our own integrity, but every matter cannot go your own way. Doesn't mean that for every athlete that you ban or suspended, that athlete remains as suspended, even if the athlete has a case to prove. She has proven that, yes, I wasn't guilty of the allegations that led to my suspension, and the suspension was lifted. So why not just allow sleeping dog to lie? If they have to lose at the Court of Arbitration for Sports, will they not be burying their head in shame? But again, this is a wake-up call, a lesson for every other athlete. You're subjected to test 365 days, of the year. They can come to you at any point in time for out of competition test. So most athletes think that it is only during competitions that they come for this test. No. There's also what they call out of competition test. They know about it. You drop your address with them, your email address with them, your telephone number with them, and if they are coming to you, let's assume I live at number 10, Chike Street, Zuoba, and you have my telephone number, you have my email address. You send a mail to me that you'll be coming to my house or you'll be coming to my residence for the out of competition test or whereabout test. And then you sent the mail like a week ago. And 1 week after, no response, and I come to your house, you are not at home. It will be assumed that you deliberately avoided having contact with us because you have something
to hide
and something to hide. So that is what they are leveraging on. And for Toby and Musa, you came to my house. You said you're going to come. For example, you're going to come at 2 p.m. 1 p.m. you didn't show up. 2 p.m. you didn't show up. 3 p.m. you didn't show up. 4 p.m. you didn't show up. And at about 6 p.m. I left my house for something. Courtesy also demands that you leave a message behind that I am at so and so place. So peradventure you come to the address that I gave to you, I'm not there. There's a message behind. So you can also go to that point to check if I am around, that axis. The picture is still not very clear.
Not very clear at all.
All that transpired between the team from AIU that went for whereabout test and did not meet Toby at the designated allocation. So maybe in the days ahead.
Toby actually came up to give a strong reason that the athletic integrity unit team, they didn't do enough, to locate her where she was during.
Toby at so and so. Toby and Musa is one athlete that has been texted, subjected to job text, much more than most of the athletes that you see around. One thing about these guys, when they see, an athlete from the continent of Africa doing more than they expected, they start having this notion. This is not possible. It cannot come from an athlete in Africa. But it can only come from an athlete Western Europe and from other climes. They should understand that we have more red blood cells, more red muscles that helps an athlete to break even in the sprint event more than they have. So when they see athletes from this part of the world begin to do the unthinkable for them, they should just allow things be. Yes, a very strong reason she has, and those arguments will also be put forward before the Court of Arbitration for something to be. Let them know that this is where I'm going to be between this time and that time. And if they don't come to that place, you don't have yourself to blame. They will have themselves to blame for not doing enough. Perhaps that is what Toby is trying to say. But the question would be, did you tell them that I am going to be at so and so place, this particular date, if you come, just in case I am not at home.
All right, we'll keep our fingers crossed and we'll pray that, Toby get past this one, once again. And I believe, of course, a strong reason, of course, will help her, get through this particular one. But let's talk boxing on the show as we're here at the final table for the just concluded pre-Olympic boxing qualifier has been reviewed by the organizers of the event. Nigerian boxers participated in the championship and performed well. Team Nigeria ended the championship with 3 gold and 3 bronze medals to stay second on the table. And apart from getting gold medals, 4 of them also qualified for the Olympic Games in Paris. Now, according to the charts, Algeria finished as the top team with 4 gold medals and a bronze medal, while Morocco stayed third behind Nigeria with 2 gold, 1 silver, and 3 bronze medal. It's been a long time we've seen the Nigerian Boxing Federation, of course, coming up with such kind of impressive feat. 4 boxers have qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympic. I think this is a good news, very news for the Nigerian Boxing Federation.
Yes, good news. You recall at the 1984 Olympic Games, 1988, Nigeria had close to about 4 or 5 boxers for the final, and even up to 1992. But how we missed out from a podium finish, it's something that it's still difficult for those who manages boxing in the country to explain. I was listening to Albert Ermosele, an Olympian too, boxer. He's based in the United States of America. They're all boxers in the family. His elder brother, a boxer, and also represented Nigeria at the All Africa Games. I was monitoring the conversation somewhere, and he said that in the 80s and 90s, they were exposed to regular competitions in and outside Nigeria at amateur level. But today, the reverse is the case. How many times do our athletes, our boxers, participate in one competition or the other? There is a boxing competition that takes place in Lagos today. It happens once in a year. So after the boxing competition, boxers wait for the National Sport Festival in another 2 years. So what this means is that you go to the gym every day, you spar every day, and then you have the opportunity to showcase all that you've done in the gym during your sparring in just one competition. Yeah, you certainly cannot be amongst the best in the world. When deviating to wrestling, when Daniel Gali won the World Championship and Olympic gold for Canada, he said, for you to become a champion, world champion in wrestling, you must participate in a minimum of 9 competitions annually. The chances here is this: if I meet you in my first competition, there's this likelihood that I'm going to meet you again in finals of another competition. By the time I fight you 3, 4 times, I must have been able to study your weaknesses, know how to take advantage of your weaknesses, and improve on my strengths to outwit you.
Yeah.
Same thing is applicable to boxing because it's a combat sport. If we have regular competition in Nigeria here, let's say like 6, 7 competitions annually in Nigeria, and we travel out of the shores of this country to go participate in about 3 or 4 other competitions, be it at amateur level, there is a chances that the guy that I fought against at the 60-kilogram class, maybe bantamweight or weight or featherweight or middleweight or light heavyweight, as a case may be, the guy that I come up against in my very first fight, there's every likelihood that if we are going to Bauchi State for another championship, I will likely meet that guy. And there's this likelihood again that I'll meet him if we go to Oyo State to fight. So by the time we fight, we box 3, 4, 5, 6 times, it will be easy to tell this is the number 1 boxer in this category in Nigeria, number 2 boxer in this category. We go outside the shores of Nigeria 4 times, I win once or twice, as the case may be. And by the time the window for the Olympic qualifier comes up, Nigeria can beat our chest to say, out of 7, 8 boxers that we are sending to the pre-Olympic qualifiers, we are double sure that 5, 6 will qualify for the Olympic Games. And out of the 5, 6 that will qualify for the Olympic Games, we are also sure that 3 of them will have a podium finish. Because during the course of preparation for the next Olympic Games, we've seen these fighters participate in 4 competitions outside Nigeria. And they have fought against the best in their category. Maybe they won some and they lost some. So if those best are still in the picture at the Olympic Games, I've beaten you before. So I can always beat you again and again. You understand? So it's like in football, the team you beat today, you have this confidence that I'm going to beat you again if we meet next weekend. And I'm going to beat you each time we meet. So that is what I think the Boxing Federation needs to do. Congratulations to the boxers for qualifying. Between now and the Olympic Games, they need to subject these boxers to regular competitions in Nigeria and outside the shores of Nigeria to put them in the Olympic mood when they go to the ring in Paris.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed and see what, of course, they were able to do when they get down to the Paris 2024 Olympic. 4 boxers, of course, they've secured the tickets for the Paris 2024 Olympic, and I think it's really a cherry news for the Boxing Federation of Nigeria. It's really been a long time we've seen this, happen down here in Nigeria. But we'll take a short break, and when we come back from this break, we'll dive straight to the beautiful world of football, and I can tell you for sure that Rivers United, they are in Nigeria after playing out a goalless draw against Etoli Filante of Burkina Faso. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Atlantic Television Network. And of course, we'll bring you the latest revolving around the water sport this morning. It's time to talk football on the show. And we'll start with the CAF Confederation Cup as Rivers United have arrived in Nigeria following the CAF Confederation Cup clash against Etoli Filante of Burkina Faso. The former Nigerian Premier League champions landed at the international wings of the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos, at exactly 3:32 p.m. and are expected to connect a local flight to Port Harcourt to begin preparation for the return leg. Meanwhile, the technical advisor of Rivers United, Stanley Gomez, is already banking up their home fans for the second leg encounter against Etoli Filante of Burkina Faso, following their goalless draw in the first leg of for the second preliminary round of for the CAF Confederation Cup in Yamoussoukro, Cote d'Ivoire. Rivers United are back after an impressive outing down there in Cote d'Ivoire, but they're back, of course, to get the job done and dusted.
The technical advisor Stanley Gomez saying he's banking on the home fans. They actually have home fans at the Abidjan Striker Sports Complex. Every team that comes to Port Harcourt to play, whether in the, or in the continent, don't actually play away. You know, it's like a neutral ground because you have less than 1,000 spectators, in the stands there, and about 120 of them are members of the supporters club, and the other 780 or 880, as the case may be, are fans who just came to enjoy football. So, they got a fantastic result away from home. So what it is just a lone goal, a victory. But again, when the first leg, of the match ends in a goalless draw, it's much more dicey than when it ends in a lone goal victory for the visitors coming to town. Because here in Port Harcourt, if a 12 scores and they don't concede, Rivers United will be out of the competition.
Yeah.
So that is why I said it is much more difficult than if the 12 had won by one goal to nil. So for Rivers United, it's like they have just 190 minutes to play and not 180 minutes to play first leg and second leg. Anything that happens in Port Harcourt this weekend to be it for Rivers United. But I'm feeling to play on the continent of Africa. On their own against the 12, they are the more experienced side, having played on the continent more consistently than at the side from Burkina Faso. They did not play in Ouagadougou. They played the game in Cote d'Ivoire, away from home. So to them, from home again. So the team with a tougher mental strength for this game should go past this round for the next round of the competition. And that is what I believe Rivers United can do. Are the most funded club in the Nigeria Premier League domestic scene in the last 3 years. Iguma has gone for players that he strongly believes will get the business done for him in the field of play. And his recruitment policy in the last 3 years has been very, very fantastic. And a similar thing he has done this season. So we expect to see the match this weekend will give fans of Rivers United a mirror of what to expect from the team as they progress in the CAF Confederation Cup and also when the league eventually starts in Nigeria.
All right, let's stay away from Rivers United as we hear the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has announced a huge increase of monetary reward for all the participating clubs in the inaugural edition of the African Football League. CAF announced the increment yesterday after giving out the cash prize of $500,000 to USM Orgers for winning the Super Cup and $250,000 to Ahly for finishing second. According to the African Football Governing Body, all the participating teams in the African Football League will get $900,000 as participation fee, and the semi-finalists will go home with $1.7 million, while the finalists will receive the sum of $2.8 million. Now, reigning Nigerian Premier Football League champions, Enyimba International, they are among the selected Pioneers Club in the competition, and the 9-time Nigerian League champions will face Wydad Casablanca of Morocco in the quarterfinal. This African League I think is gradually yielding, enough money, as it stand. Supposed to be called the African Super League, but the name was actually being changed. What do you make of the league, in Africa? Do you think it will achieve its purpose?
Well, the purpose for organizing the African is still not very
Clear.
clear. Like Europe tried having something. Everything that happens in Europe, we want to copy in Africa. I just hope we copy well
Yeah.
and raise the bar. For me, I'm particularly happy because this will be an opportunity for Aimba, Football Club of Aba. They are the most decorated side in Nigeria, domestically and on the continent of Africa. Won the CAF Champions League back to back in 2008, 2004. And I think that was what organizers of this championship looked at. And they also maybe looked at the market in Nigeria because of our population. So you have Aimba playing in this competition. And if Aimba wins it, that would be over 2.5 billion naira. Course. And if they judiciously manage 2.5 billion naira, they can attract any player they want in the sub-African sub-region to Aimba food. And they can manage that money, that going back to the government for the next 4 football seasons as the case may be. This is also going to be an eye-opener for the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
You'll be rest assured that in another 2 years, 2 football seasons, the prize money for the winner of the CAF Champions League will also go up. The prize money for the CAF Confederation Cup will also go up. The prize money for all the CAF organized competitions will also go up because from the quarterfinal of this 8-team African League live on TV, and it's going to be aimed to not less than 60 to 80 countries in the world. We want to see what the best in Africa has to offer. The best in Africa in the last 10, 20 years, as the case may be, what they have to offer. We want to see the quality of play. We want to see how they transit from the defense to the midfield to the attack. And if we appreciate what they are able to do from the quarterfinal stage to the finals, we begin to see if this, if what we watch in the UEFA Champions League, Europa Cup, what we watch in the Copa Libertadores in South America, you're saying the same thing on the continent of Africa. Then we begin to see yes, African football at the club level has also come of age. But I don't want to see them stop at this stage of such organization.
Okay.
I want to see an African club side play in the FIFA World Club Cup competition, not just be a perennial semi-final loser. I want to see an African club side progress to the finals, play against the champions from Europe or the champions from South America, and also win until such a thing happens or soccer nation in Africa wins the World Cup finals. The rest of the world will not take Africa serious. Will only be in the shadow of Europe, shadows of South America, and even Asia today. So for me, it's because of the monetary value. I'm appreciating the competition because I know $900,000, 8 participating teams already, whether you win or lose.
Yeah, that's very huge.
$900,000 richer, which is almost 900 million naira if you go to the black market. So 900 million naira for Aimba, win or lose, big money already.
Big money.
Progress to the semi-final, the money topples. You make it to the finals and you lose, you have over $1 million. My brother, this is good money that the governor of Abia State would have been relieved of some expenses.
True.
Because what football takes in Nigeria is 10 times what the other sports put together, take, in an entire athletic season.
All right, interesting one, and I hope, of course, seeing you back, will be able to get this one at the end of the day. But let's talk about the Champions League because we're out of time. Manchester City will be in action tonight, and the manager talking about Pep Guardiola He has come out to say that Manchester City has done nothing, but winning just one UEFA Champions League title because there've been a lot of accolade, on City winning their first UEFA Champions League. But Pep is saying that the team has done nothing, just winning one Champions League title, that they have to win like five thereabouts. I don't know what you make of. Do you think they still have what it takes to continue with the form we saw last season in the UEFA Champions League?
With what they have done in the EPL this season, then shows that they still have what it takes to replicate that same performance. For Pep, yes, we won just one. We have club sides that have done 5, 6, and there is one that has done about 12, 13.
Yeah.
So if we celebrate just this one that we have done, and which is nothing compared to what others have done, if we win back to back, win it 2024, 2025 season, then we can start saying we have actually achieved something. But there's absolutely nothing special in what we have achieved so far. When it was with Barcelona, won the UEFA Champions League with Barcelona, tiki-taka football, brand of play, so exciting. And for him, until I go elsewhere to win, I have not done enough. For him as an individual, yes, he has achieved so much. He has won domestic titles in Spain, domestic titles in Germany, domestic titles in England, and a continental title to show for it in England. Okay. As an individual, I have done so much. There's something special about me. But this is a team thing, not an individual thing. So we've not actually achieved much. We're playing in this year's UEFA Champions League like every other team that is expected, or that is so much expectance that at the end of the season, they will be champions again.
Okay. All right, so let's quickly bring you other pictures from the UEFA Champions League tonight. AC Milan will be national against Newcastle United. Young Boys will be national against RB Leipzig. Barcelona against Antwerp. And Feyenoord against Celtic. Lazio against Atletico Madrid. And of course, Studio C2 will be national against Stars. Paris Saint-Germain will look against Borussia Dortmund. Shakhtar Donetsk will be national against FC Porto. So those are the matches we'll be expecting tonight in the UEFA Champions League. But at this point, to call it a wrap on the show, we'll be back by 6 p.m. on Sports Extraordinary to bring you, of course, an incisive preview on the UEFA Champions League matches tonight. It's really been an interesting time with Peter Abaji this morning. I'm blessed.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for joining us. Don't forget, Mr. Unitel was the pathways to progress. Stay locked on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley Mano. Thanks for watching.